Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Sabetha Mumm on the line, and she's the owner over at Dance Vision. Sabetha, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So this is a big topic, and I'll just kick this off by saying, I was going through your website as I was preparing for this, and I just saw all the amazing work you're doing, the students, the kids. I mean, you're affecting a lot of lives over at Dance Vision. I'm really excited because I feel like you're somebody I want talking on this, how to turn your passion into a business and what that looks like. So I think we got a great topic today for our audience. Just to get this kicked off, we'll start this the way that we start them all, with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Sabetha, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Sabetha, what mission matters to you?
Here at Dance Vision, our entire mission is around providing opportunities for every dream through dance. That's it. So whether your dream is to be a professional dancer, whether your dream is just to have a little more confidence, whether your dream is to lose some weight, whether your dream as a parent is to get your kids out of the house and off electronics and doing something fun where they're moving, whatever your dream is, we are here to help accomplish it through dance.
It's amazing. I love having mission-based entrepreneurs on the show to really show, where their heart's at, why they do what they do, like what gets them motivated and fired up, and what their passion is, and how they're in the marketplace making a difference. So awesome having you here. And I guess just to get us started. So where did all this begin? Before Dance Vision, how did you get started on this journey really as an entrepreneur?
Sure. So growing up, I had a very interesting, eclectic lifestyle. My parents were hippies for a while. In fact, for the first 6 months after I was born, we lived in a school bus. Also, hence the name Sabetha, very different. But there just wasn't a whole lot of stability. And I had a lot of time on my hands to myself. And I think when kids have a lot of time to themselves, they become very creative, especially before electronics. I'm way before the internet age. Yeah. So, I had a lot of time on my hands. I was just a very creative kid. And I think also growing up with music in the house, I was moving a lot. My mom actually said I came out moving. So I basically begged them to take dance classes. And then my teenagers were a little rough. My father had some undesirable behaviors that he engaged in. And it meant we had to travel a lot. We had to leave in the middle of the night sometimes to move to a different location. And I just didn't have a whole lot of stability. And I knew that I wanted something that filled a void in my life, but I really didn't find it until I found dance class. And then it became like my therapy. So whatever drama I was going through at home or at school, I could really just get it out at dance class. It felt like the place where I didn't have to speak to say what I wanted to say, but I could say it with my heart, with my soul, and with my creativity. And to be honest, dance probably saved my life. If I didn't have that, I'd have a completely different lifestyle. Yeah. So after graduating from college and kind of, I guess, bouncing around, not really sure what I wanted to do, I met the man of my dreams. I got married. I was working for a company that had nothing to do with dance. And when we found out we were going to have a baby, I remember laying in bed that night and saying, I cannot wait to raise this child and tell him to go do whatever it is he wants to do. And his dreams are important. And I want him to do what he loves, even if it doesn't make money. And I looked over at my husband and he looked at me and I was like, I'm not doing that. What a hypocrite. I cannot expect my child to go off and chase their dreams and goals when I didn't do it. And I walked into the office that I was working at the next day and I said, I am giving my 2 weeks notice. I am leaving to open a dance studio. Wow. And the owner kind of was like, oh, I mean, same personality. I had the same personality before I owned a dance studio and today. But he kind of looked at me and he said, if anybody can do it, you can.
Wow.
And that was it. I walked out, boom, no other options. That's what I was going to do. And then I've made it my life's work since to try to inspire others to do what it is they love. Yeah. And if you do that, you will find a way to make a paycheck at it. If you are so good at what you do, people will want to be a part of it. They will want to come and learn from you. And that's basically it. I just turned what I loved throughout my entire life that really saved me and was my, not just my passion, but it was everything to me. Turn it into what I love. And now I'm trying to teach others to do that and go for it as well.
Wow. What an amazing story, first off. And I laugh whenever somebody says their parents were hippies, because mine were too. I was told right out of the hospital, they took me to to the park. Like there was some picnic in the park. And I'm like, you don't take a newborn right out of the hospital. But I had those hippie parents too.
Yep. Sure you do.
So I just want to step back just a little bit here. So it's a pretty specific point in time in your narrative or your story. And because there'll be a lot of, entrepreneurs, would-be entrepreneurs, people that are in different areas of their journey. And I think this, like hearing your thoughts on this would help them. And that's really when you made that decision to leave the safety of corporate America, whatever we want to call it, whether we think it's safe, we don't see it, whatever. How did you, if you can kind of backtrack, how did you take it from idea, to actually doing it? Because I feel like so many individuals, they have these ideas, they have these things they want to do, but they don't get to that point of all right, doing. What helped you there? How did you do that?
That's a great question. For me specifically, I think there are no excuses to not know something, especially in today's day and age. There's books, there's YouTubes, there's podcasts. There is enough information out there that you can learn how to do anything that it is you want to do. I have to backtrack just a little bit and just say the company that I was working for had an incredible owner, an incredible president, an incredible CFO. And while I was there, I don't know if it's just the nature of me being a natural learner and I've always loved learning. I will learn until the day I think when I think that I know everything will be the day that I can go. But I think being a lifelong learner is so key to being an entrepreneur. So the day that I decided to do it, immediately it was, what books can I get a hold of? What podcasts can I listen to? What YouTube pages can I go to? I went to the SBA's website and I read everything. And I don't know if you've ever been to the SBA's website.
Amazing.
And I just spent nights, hours after hours reading through everything so that I knew, what is it a bank going to want from me? What is, a company that's going to lease me space? What are they going to want from me? So that when I walked into banks to provide, a business plan to ask for funding, or when I went to a landlord to ask to lease, I had every box checked. There's no excuse for not knowing what it is that you need to know when you walk into a room for someone to ask you what it is they want from you. When I come to a bank and say, I want money, they need to know that I have done my research and here, what is it that you need? I've got all of it for you. And I've done that since. Also, just to backtrack a little bit, but the studio has been in business for 19 years. And 5 years ago, we were busting at the seams. We had one building we were in, then we were renting another building, and our kids had to walk across the street to take some of their dance classes because we'd outrun our space. And I just decided that was it. I'm building my own space. And again, I went back to the SBA and did a bunch of research. And I wound up 5 years ago building a $2 million building that now houses all of our operations. It's a much bigger space. It's a beautiful space and it's an inspiring space. But again, if you're going to go and ask for that kind of money, you need to know all of your numbers. You need to know everything that bank is going to ask for. If you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, then do your research, do your homework, ask people, find mentors that have done it. Ask them, what do I need to know? What do I need to have? What financial documents do I need to have? Ask somebody who's done it before and do your research and know your numbers.
Great. I love it all. And one more thing on this topic before we move on. So partner or no partner. And I don't mean for you per se in your business, but I just mean in general, because I feel like what you just now said is maybe can be overwhelming to people. Like they may be like, well, I like doing this part. I like and I'll just say in your case, maybe you just like the creative side, but you didn't like the business side. You like both. It sounds like it's because you have that natural lifelong learner trait, as you mentioned. But to go with a partner or not a partner, just how do you weigh in on that one?
Yeah, I think it's a personal choice. There were, almost 40 other dance studios in the Des Moines metro area where I live when I opened up. I really didn't go to any of them for advice. I went to people outside of the market. I guess at that point, there just wasn't anybody that I knew that was also wanting to do what I wanted to do. So I didn't have a partner. However, I have the most amazing partner in my husband, who is so patient with me and so understanding. Every time I decide I'm going to do something and I say, honey, I'm going to do this, he goes, okay. First of all, he knows he's not going to change my mind when I decide I'm going to do something, but he's also super supportive and just says, if it's what you want to do and it lights your heart on fire, go do it. You have my support. So do I have a partner? Yes, I have a silent partner, and he's the most amazing one ever. But other than that, I think it depends. If you know somebody who's wanting to do what you want to do and you trust that that journey with them will be productive, then yeah, go for it and do it with a partner. At the time, I was the only one being crazy. So I was the only one who did it.
That's awesome. And the reason I bring that up is because sometimes people are kind of held back. I also find that that's another thing. They're like, well, there's just these other things that I don't know or I don't like. And it's like, you can find maybe other people that can complement you. So there's another co-founder here, Shirag, where, he has experience in the media side of things and building media companies. So that was a real integral partner that I needed to get further along in this business. So I just like to give examples for people so that they know that they don't have to be alone. They can, if they want to, or if they want to go at it, but there's just different ways to tackle that.
Absolutely. So, and to that extent, I will say I have a team. I have an amazing team. My attorney, my accountant, my financial advisor, my staff here. I probably should say I have 30 partners, to be quite honest, because I didn't, and I never have done it alone. I've always had help along the way. I'm also not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to sit there and say in a room, I don't know this, so educate me. I think that's something that holds people back, is they feel like, well, I should know, and I don't want to sound stupid by not asking, but you sound stupid by not doing. So ask for help. And that's another thing. Again, the owners of the company that I was working for, I sat down with them at one point and said, okay, what do I not know? Tell me what I don't know, as opposed to me acting like I should know everything. I want to know all the pitfalls. I want to know all the mistakes you made so I can avoid them. If there's somebody who's really serious about helping others and helping other entrepreneurs, they will tell you and they will help you.
Yeah, it's great. I'm probably not allowed to say right now. So Sabetha, tell me what I don't know about turning your passion into profits or into a business, right? That'd be a cop out. I got more questions for you. Don't worry.
That's all right.
But that's a great question. I'm going to borrow that one for future interviews. I promise. Tell me what I don't know about this. That's awesome. Great question.
That's what you don't know can kill you. It's not what you know that's going to hurt you. It's what you don't know that you don't know that's going to kill your business or hurt you. So it's your responsibility to find it. Ask.
Absolutely. So, being a creative, being in business, I'll give you my quick story, and then I want your take on this. So I remember when I was in high school, that was a point, like whatever the high school I was in, college, preparatory, something that you had to kind of pick a major, so to speak, for high school. And so they were like business or art. I was an artist my whole life before that. I'd airbrushed. I mean, I'd just been creative, and I've been doing that and running businesses where I sold things related to my art since I was like, I think 6th grade. So many years. And then I had this decision to make, and it's like business or art. And I was kind of instructed that, well, you can't make money as a creative if you just want to be an artist. If you want to be a starving artist, go that route. If not, start a business. So I chose to go the business route, went into finance, things like that. Now that was, quite some time ago. This is before, graphic designs, before social media, right? All that stuff. For the young people watching this, yes, there was a time before Facebook and social media and Instagram. It did happen. And so in those days, it was a little bit different. But now, when you think about the idea of being able to turn a passion into a job and something that you make money with full time and can provide for your family with, I mean, it's just different. It's a whole different ballgame, in my opinion. So that old excuse, I'll have you weigh in on this, that old excuse of like, I'm a creative, so I can't be good at business. I mean, weigh in on that one for me.
Absolutely. I think it's an excuse. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's definitely an excuse. If you truly are a creative whose brain just does not think on the business side, then it's your responsibility to find somebody to handle that side of it. I'm fortunate in that I kind of have a brain for both. I feel very blessed with that, but it also has taken a lifetime of education to get to that point. I didn't start off knowing everything about business, just like I didn't start off knowing everything about dance. And that's the thing is when growing up as a dancer, everybody understood that I didn't know what I needed to know. And so it was up to me to find teachers and educators and choreographers and dancers and directors to educate me. It's the same in the business world. If you really want to be good at it and you have a passion for it, then you'll find the mentors and the educators and the teachers and or the classes to educate yourself on it. Saying that you're not good at it is just an excuse saying, I don't want to do it. And that's fine. Again, if you are a creative and you just want to focus on the craft side, then find a partner or a business manager who can handle the business side for you. And again, there's a million resources out there now. If what you do is you're really good at art, I'm sure you can find somebody on the internet or know somebody who knows somebody who can manage the business side for you. I have several of our students that have graduated who are now professionals dancing, and they are that way. They just don't want to handle the business side of it. So they hire a manager to do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, there's so much information out there to help you learn how to be a successful entrepreneur. I also feel like if you are good at your craft, whatever that may be, whether it's painting or teaching dance or choreographing or setting a play, whatever it is, if you're really good at it, people won't want to pay you for your service. I think that people give up on their art or craft too soon before they're a master at it, and then don't understand why they're not getting paid for it. When you hear all the time of artists who did not get paid for their art until they were 20, 30 years into it because they weren't great at it. It's not something that you are, even when you're a prodigy, you're not incredible at it enough to get paid until you are a master craftsman at your craft. And I would argue also, that's the same thing with being an accountant or an attorney. Nobody gets paid to do those things what they're worth until their worth is what they're getting paid. So make sure that you worked whatever it is your craft is, anything across the board, anything that anybody gets paid for, being a carpenter, being a financial advisor, and tell them what you have to offer is worth that much. People probably aren't going to pay for it. But at some point you get so good at what you're doing, if you don't give up on it, that not everybody, but somebody out there wants it and somebody's willing to pay for it. So just don't give up on your craft or what it is you love until you are really good at it. Everybody wants to be good at something, but nobody wants to be a master craftsman anymore. They want it to happen like this quick. And you can blame, the internet or social media, instant gratification for it if you like. But it is true. People want to be good at something because, I see that, I like it, I want to be good at it, and they spend a day working on it. It takes sometimes 10 years to be a master craftsman at anything that you want to do. So know that that's the road that you're on. And if you want to do it, then you'll put the time into it and wait until you are a master craftsman to expect to be paid for it.
Yeah, I love it. And the market will tell you, like if people are writing you checks and paying, the market will tell you. I'm totally in for this. And I want to shift focus slightly, and then we'll circle back to the idea of being a master craftsman. And I also want to hear your views on, because of your market, chasing fame, working on your craft. I want to get deeper into that. But before we do, let's go. I don't want to assume that everybody watching this knows everything about Dance Vision. So let's just take a second maybe to have you explain a little bit more about Dance Vision and what you do on a day-to-day.
Sure. So we are a full service dance studio. We offer classes for ages 12 months through adult. We have a 5-room, beautiful facility that we built 5 years ago, 12,000 square feet. It is a state-of-the-art facility with sprung floors, which we didn't have when I was growing up. So most dancers my age have knee problems because we were dancing on concrete and things we never should have been on. So this facility is actually built to really be state-of-the-art. We have closed-circuit TVs in all of the studio rooms so parents can sit in the lobby and watch what's going on with their kids.
Wow.
We do have a competition team, a performance team. We also have our dream team, which is very near and dear to my heart. It's a special needs program that we offer to dancers for free so they can come in and take class and then also perform in the annual recital. And we've just kind of made our name for ourselves as having excellence in the training. We have over 20 alumni that are dancing professionally all over the world for every artist you could think of. And we just love, again, creating opportunities for every dancer through dance.
That's great. And then location.
Yeah, we're in Johnston, Iowa. It's a small town, but it's a beautiful community. We have in our facility what we call the DV fam, the Dance Vision family, and it is a real thing. We actually take care of each other when there's a catastrophe or a loss in a family. Everyone gathers together to help that person out. We really do take care of each other and feel kind of like a small community within our community.
How important has community been in kind of building this? And I in Dance Vision, of course, but just in general, like in the support of there, like how important has community been on your journey?
Huge. So we do research every year on how clients come to us. And, you know, it's 2% through advertising and it's 95% through word of mouth. And then every once in a while, somebody will they'll see us at a competition or they'll see us performing or they'll see something come across their social media or something and then start to check us out. But it's overwhelmingly word of mouth of what we do that gets us our new clientele. And we're super appreciative of that. It means that our clients love what we do enough to tell their friends or people that move to the neighborhood and say, hey, if your kid has any interest in dance whatsoever, this is the place that you have to go. I think it also comes from us feeling a responsibility to our community, not just to teach dance classes, but to help raise productive members of society. And what parent doesn't want help with that? I mean, I do. And my kids hopefully are not watching right now, but they say it takes a village to raise a child. And I have said it's going to take the whole metro to help raise mine. As strong-willed as I am, if you can imagine, I have two kids that are more strong-willed than I am. So it takes a lot to help raise those kids. And that's kind of what we're here. We're kind of all helping each other. Also, I will say during COVID, when activities like this definitely fell by the wayside to a lot of families, it was not important. It was not a need. It was just a want. It was still the members of our clientele that knew if they didn't stay in class or at least stay supporting, we were not going to be around when COVID was over. And the amount of support and the amount of people that were patient as we figured out how to pivot immediately from providing our service in the classroom to online and stuck with us through that entire process is huge. I am so grateful for each and every one of our clients.
Oh, what an amazing story. That's really amazing. And that great example of community and what that means. So circling back to the idea of craft. So you mentioned, you have, I believe, over 20 dancers that are dancing professionally all around the world for, big artists, people that we would all know. So weighing back in on this question. So, chasing fame versus working on your craft. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel very strongly that anyone who chases fame, it will elude them. And the person who just chases the fact of trying to be the best craftsman they can be, fame will find them. And if you look at major artists or influencers around the world, they didn't do what they were doing because they wanted to become famous. They did what they did because they loved it, or they had an insane passion for doing something better for the world, and fame just came along with it. So I think these kids that put something up on social media or do something because, or I want to be a singer because I want to be famous, or I want to be an actor because I want to be famous, it never finds them. It always eludes them. But somebody who says, I want to be an actor because I want to move people and I want to affect their lives in a positive way, or I want to make them feel something they never felt before. Those are the people that get so good at their craft, they wind up becoming famous and making the bigger paychecks. So I would just tell everybody, regardless of what it is that you want to do, whether it's a creative career or it's a business career, just get so good at your craft, they can't ignore you. Everyone knows who you are, whether you want that fame or not.
Yeah. One of the things I like about this whole, like the influencer generation or whatever we call it, and I don't necessarily like the word influencer, by the way, but I just mean what I like about it is that it's kind of, to me, it's a hybrid of the idea of fame and building a community. Like, so in the past, it was, you just put out your product. And I mean, because you were really good at it, right? Obviously. So whether you're an actor or something else, like you put out your product through distribution channels, you're on Disney or whatever it was. And then, your audience was attracted to you. And then, that those numbers dictated how, the kind of money that the market would give you, we'll say, for your craft in exchange. But now, the idea of like what you're saying, if you're working on your craft. So now you can be working on your craft and you can be bringing your community, whether that's on social media or literally, on that journey with you. Like it's kind of the best of both worlds. And if somebody's doing that authentically, like you can be greatly rewarded for that. Like it's just a whole nother world. And there's just so much more possibility for creatives, in my opinion, just in general.
I completely agree. And so anyone who says, yeah, they know somebody on social media who really hasn't done anything, but they're famous.
Nah.
I would argue with that in that my son lives in Los Angeles now, and his one of his roommates spent probably 4 to 5 hours a day on his craft of his social media. So what you see for a 30-second post probably spent, he could have spent 5 hours setting that up or doing hundreds of takes or editing or the things that it took to make that post. So people that say, oh, well, it's making famous people out of people who are doing nothing. I disagree with that. Maybe in some cases it is, but the people who are really famous at it are spending a lot of time on their craft. And you can say social media isn't a craft, but pretty much everything is a craft. If it's what you love to do and you want to do. And I also agree, it is a way to bring communities together. Again, when I was growing up, you had to call your friend, and then your friend called your friend, and that friend that called on our teen lines or whatever it was you had at home. But now you can reach, millions of people in 5 seconds with a post. And I do believe that, to whom much is given, there is much responsibility. I know I didn't say that correctly according to the scripture, but to whom much is given, there's much expected. And I feel like if you have that kind of a platform, then you should feel a responsibility to do some good with it and bring your community together or inspire others.
And the thing is that I feel like, so when we talk about craft and things and being creative, like the idea is to me is that they're putting their heart into it. Like that person spending 5 hours in that 30-second clip, that 1 minute clip, like they care about their audience. They care about the people that are going to consume that content, whether they have one follower, one person watching this, or a million, like they care. And that comes through that authenticity, that heart that's put into it. They care. So when you think about models, that's no different, in my opinion, than if we go back X amount of years and, that's Disney or something else or a big movie or something else. And, there's just thousands of people working on this. Well, now, I mean, that still exists. But now the good thing is that somebody can put in, whether it's dancing, whatever their craft is, whether it's dance, whether it's, art, whatever their craft is, social media. Now they can put their heart into it and get some of the same results that then provide opportunity. So it's almost like just more of a direct relationship with your audience. Like you don't necessarily need that barrier anymore. So to me, it just spells more opportunity, really.
Absolutely. It's a way to reach more people.
Yeah.
I think there was a commercial, I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was of a basketball player in Alaska and how he could not play on a college team had he grown up 10 years previous because nobody would know who he is and he had no ability to travel to audition to these places. But then you enter YouTube or whatever, method of video delivery you want and email. And now this kid can email a video of him playing basketball in Alaska to coaches all over the world and now potentially be able to do what it is that he loves because he has a medium of distribution. I think that's the thing that's beautiful about social media is now there is instant distribution, whereas before, how did you reach these people? How did you communicate with them? I think it's great when you have somebody who is good at whatever it is they do, and then they use that distribution for good to try and help people or empower them to do whatever it is they love.
Yeah. And so, given the world that we're in right now, lots of opportunity, like how do you encourage your students and your dancers to really like dream big? Like what does that mean to you?
I love this story. This is one of my favorites. So I typically will sit them down at some point when I feel like they're old enough to understand this concept. And I will ask them the same question that I would ask you or any other adult. And that is, when you were 5 years old and an adult asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody said things like, I want to be the president. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. And then at some point around your teenage years, they ask you that same question. And when you say an astronaut or the president or a firefighter or whatever, they ask you what your backup plan is. And that to me is the worst thing you could say to a kid. What is your backup plan? Because what it says is what they're dreaming or what they're hoping is not attainable. So you're asking them what their backup is to do instead of that. We got to stop that as a society. Instead, we should continually still be encouraging. Why not them? Somebody's going to do it. Why not that kid from the middle of nowhere in the middle of Iowa or from any community that people think, oh, they can't do that because it's just not in the cards for them. And that has just got to stop. That is, if you want to talk about what I'm really passionate about, it is stopping that conversation and saying, yeah, go ahead, do it. And then saying, how are you going to do it? And helping them ask the questions. Okay, if what I want to be as an astronaut, then what classes do I need to be taking in high school? Who should I be trying to find as a mentor online? What should I be introducing to myself in my life to help prepare me for that path, if that is what I want to do, instead of saying, what's your fallback plan? Same thing with being an actor or being a dancer or being a comedian or being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, instead of saying, 90% of the businesses fail within the first, 7 years or whatever this is. I don't even know what it is. That's probably way off because I don't pay attention to those things. But instead of saying to that kid, what's your backup plan? I don't care how old they are, even if they're 30 years old and they say, yeah, I've always wanted to start this business. I look at them and say, why haven't you? What's holding you back? Go do it. If everybody's afraid of failure, then we're in trouble because you have to fail to learn. That's the whole thing is you're going to make a million mistakes. It's not that you make a million. It's that you learn 1,000,001 lessons and that you move on from that. No matter how many times you fall, doesn't matter as long as you get up one more time than the number of times you fall. So these conversations about turning your passion into your business or living your dreams is just, yes, go do it. And if it doesn't work out the first time, try it again. I know people, even in my community, they've moved to Los Angeles for a dance career. 6 months later, they have no money. They move back home. They work on a job. They save up some more money. They go back. They try again. They run out of money. They come back home. They save up money. And the third time, now all their, they're making it. They're really working as a professional dancer. It's not giving up. And it's not listening to that conversation of what's your backup plan. Adults have to stop saying that to kids and instead say, okay, awesome. Tell me how you're going to do it. You don't know? Let's work on it together. Let's go figure it out. Let's get to the library. Well, they don't do libraries anymore. Let's get online. Let's find the resources you need to make it happen. That's what's got to start happening to help everybody achieve their dream.
It's almost like, especially in the case of like the dancers that you mentioned, that they come, they try, they, crap out, they go back, they save up some more money, they go, they try again, they try again. It's almost like the universe and kind of like the market. It's like it's testing them. It's saying like, how bad do you want this, right? Like, how many times are you willing to get up after falling? It just seems like you can be so close sometimes and then you stop just right before the finish line.
That you hear that a million times from entrepreneurs, don't you?
Yeah.
I was going to give up. And I waited one more week or one more day. And then it happened. And I think it's definitely a mindset. It's turning that into, it's not the universe trying to hold you back. It's the universe or your higher power or whoever saying, there are lessons I want you to learn. There are things that you need to know before I let you take off, before, it all happens for you. And so when you turn every experience that you have that's negative into a positive, what am I supposed to learn from this? Why is this still holding me back? I must not be ready. There must be some information I need to know. There's more I need to work on or whatever. And look at it that way, as opposed to a setback or a failure. It's 100% mindset. It's the same thing with making your dreams come true. It's 100% mindset. I know people that have worked on their craft for 10 years before one break. I know people that have been to 100+ auditions before they booked their first job. I think it was even Danny DeVito that said he went to 152 or whatever auditions before he booked his first movie. How many people would have given up after 10? So it's a matter of, if this is what I love to do and what I want to do, it is not a matter of if, it is just when. And so don't give up on it. And some people, especially people that love you, who don't want to see you suffer, will ask you to give up on it, to do something else for their safety and their comfort zone. It'd be very easy. I mean, I know why my parents wanted me to go to college and wanted me to get a job with a 401k and an insurance plan, because they didn't want me to suffer pain, because being broke and having to find resources is painful. But sometimes that's what you need more than the safety net. And I'm not saying anything, there's nothing wrong with 401ks and insurance plans. I have them now. But I'm just saying, wanting your kids to be comfortable doesn't necessarily always serve them. Sometimes they do need to go out there and suffer some losses and fall down and get up and fall down and get up and fall down and get up and have the world say, no, 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 no. Like you said, to weed out who really wants it or to help you learn some lessons before you achieve it.
Yeah. And one of the things that you mentioned, and literally interviewed thousands of entrepreneurs, varying levels of success, and a theme that comes up pretty often, I'm glad you brought it up, is that, sometimes you may not have been ready for that success earlier on. And so that it's a process, like it takes time. Like I can think just in myself, like my career, I'm like, even like the first podcast episode that I recorded, if I listen to that thing now, like I cringe. I'm like, or even before that, my very first YouTube video, oh my gosh, those will come out one day. It's going to be a testament to many people and to how not to start your first YouTube channel. I had the worst YouTube channel in the history of YouTube, promise you. But interesting, people liked it still, and they encouraged me, and they kept, giving me motivation and other things and support, and just talking about, no, keep on. And at the time, I didn't understand. No way I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, but why am I doing this? Or it hurts, or all these other things. But then you get a little bit further along, not by any means saying my journey's over, as I know your journey's not over. You want to affect many, many more students and lives. But as you get further along and you get a little bit more expertise in your craft and you see kind of the process, you can look back and you can say, oh yeah, I wasn't ready for that yet. I'm glad that didn't happen yet. Or, oh, I wasn't ready for a bigger stage. Thankfully, that didn't go viral. Right? That could have killed it all.
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't ready for that bigger stage yet. And that mindset, especially on these 13 to 25-year-olds, is hard. Yeah, it is a really hard lesson to absorb and understand or appreciate. It isn't until we're older that we recognize, I wasn't ready for that. But I still learned something from that first podcast or that first class, whatever. And then, like you said, if it's what you love, then just keep doing it. That's another thing. One of my favorite books is Mastery by Robert Greene. And he says the path to becoming great at your art is to just keep making art. Of course, it's going to be bad in the beginning. And the only person that loves it is your parents. But keep making it, because you can't be great until you make enough art that you get great at it.
It's awesome. Well, Sabetha, I tell you what, this has been awesome. Learning more about you, your journey, Dance Vision, of course. I know you're busy. I know you're growing. I just have to ask. So what's next? I mean, what's next for you? What's next for Dance Vision?
Dance Vision will hopefully, even long after I'm gone, still be continuing to encourage kids to chase their dreams. Like I said, of course, we do it through dance lessons, but whatever that dream may be, whether I'm at the helm or not, I hope it goes on for forever. In fact, I'm working on an exit plan right now. I'm almost 50. So I'm working on an exit plan to sometime execute between age 60 and 65, I hope. And then I want to travel the world with my husband and see places that we haven't seen yet and learn more about this beautiful planet we live on. But short-term goals are just continuing to find ways to expand our audience and the number of kids that we can reach.
And what's the best way for people to follow up and to disconnect and follow your journey in Dance Vision?
We have a webpage. It's www.dance-vision.com. And like you said, you can find out a lot of information about the products and services that we offer, as well as the alumni that have come from here. You can also follow us on our Instagram page or our Facebook page. And and then also I have to say, support arts. That's really important.
Fantastic. Well, again, awesome having you on the show. And to the audience, if this is your first time watching Mission Matters, just to let you know, we're a platform that's all about bringing on entrepreneurs, executives, and experts, and really having them share their mission, how they're adding value to the marketplace, like what fires them up to get up every morning to go out there and really just make a difference in the world. If that's the type of content that you're into, we definitely invite you to hit the subscribe button, because we have many more mission-based individuals coming up, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Sabetha, again, awesome having you on this show. It was really just a pleasure and an honor. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.